What's going on, y'all? I wanted to do videos on YouTube because they can be made longer, and I wanted to dive deeper into Matthew with you guys. So if you want just the shorter version where we just cover some key points, that's fine too. It's on my TikTok, where I'm just gonna talk about the first 12 verses of Matthew and highlight on some key parts about that. But yeah, let's get into it. Chapter 2. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising, and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler, who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had been stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy on entering the house. They saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. Herod essentially says, "Let me come to this boy once you find him, so then I can worship him." And so essentially Herod was tricking them just so he can kill Jesus and get rid of the threat to his power, essentially. But what I really wanted to emphasize on was the wise men coming, and once they met Jesus and once they found him, they were overwhelmed with joy, and then they worshipped him, and then they went on their own road after worshiping him. And that's sort of what we are like when we first encounter Jesus, and then how he affects our lives after we meet him. When we meet Jesus initially, I especially, this is my initial meeting, I had this overwhelming peace and joy. And then once I've known him, and once I figured out that, oh, this is really the Son of God, this is who my King is, this is where I find the most peace of mind in him, then I'm changed. I am to follow him, I am to obey him, because I am now his son. And from then on out, we don't longer live in road of sin, shame, guilt, and wickedness. We are then to take this new road where we pursue righteousness, meekness, kindness, peace. And we still will sin and fall short, but that's what makes us human, and that's what keeps us reliant on Jesus Christ. So that's one of the main parts that I wanted to highlight here, is that these wise men, they're put here for a reason in this, and they come here and they overwhelmingly worship with joy over the prodigal son. So now we're going on to verse 13. He escaped to Egypt. Now after they had left, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you. For Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him." Then Joseph got up, took the child and his mother by night, and went to Egypt, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I have called my son." When Herod saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, he was infuriated, and sent and killed all the children in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old and under, according to the time that he had learned from the wise men. Then what was fulfilled, what had been spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. A voice heard in Ramah, wailing with loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled because they are no more. Then when Herod died, an angel of the Lord suddenly appeared in a dream in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel. For those who were seeking the child's life are dead." Then Joseph got up, took the child and his mother, and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was ruling over Jerusalem in a place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there, and after being warned in a dream, he went away to the district of Galilee. There he made his hometown in a town called Nazareth, so that what had been spoken through the prophets might be fulfilled. He will be called the Nazarene. Okay, so we are at where the Lord appears to Joseph in a dream and tells him to take Jesus and Mary and to flee to Egypt, because Herod is going around killing all these kids, right? And then Herod then figures out about Jesus being born. He's so mad, he kills 2-year-olds and under, all are in Bethlehem. So then he leaves. And then another prophecy is fulfilled. Let's recap. So then we see that the Lord's appearing to Joseph in a dream, and he's being told to flee to Egypt because Herod is going to search for Jesus, and if they stay, he's going to try and kill Jesus, right? And so Joseph then takes Mary and Jesus, and they flee. And then Herod finds out he was tricked by the wise men, and he's furious. He's so angry, and he goes and kills all the 2-year-olds and under in Bethlehem, fulfilling another prophecy. And then Herod dies. A new ruler is appointed. Lord comes back to Joseph, tells him, take him back to the land of Israel. And then Joseph once more got visited in a new dream, being sent to a district in Galilee, to a town called Nazareth, which we all know is where Jesus is from. So I wanted to highlight 2 parts right now. I wanted to highlight Herod's mental instability. So Herod was a very mentally unstable guy at the end of his life, right? I actually figured this out, that he also killed his wife due to his fear of unfaithfulness in the later ends of his life. So it also just gives more credibility to how unstable he was in his mind through the last page of his life. And then I also wanted to highlight Joseph and his obedience to God. You know, Matt, like, peep this, right? Put yourself in Joseph's shoes. Spence, put yourself in Joseph's shoes, right?
All right.
So, like, you're in a dream, and you're being told, yo, this wife and kid you got, yeah, so if you stay where you're at, you're gonna get killed. You gotta go. And you're like me, I would be like, I don't know whether to trust that or not. Like, I mean, like, I don't know whether, personally, I don't know whether to trust. I'd be terrified. But I wanted to highlight on Joseph's obedience to the Lord and just trusting him in where he's taking him. And that's also how we can see ourselves and how we need to trust in the Lord on where he's going to take us, you know. Right now I'm in college. I don't know. I have a lot of uncertainties, and one thing that remains constant is Jesus is present in my life, right? And that's the same thing for you guys. Jesus is present in your lives, right? And so since we have this presence of God, this presence of Jesus in our lives, like, we're on an airplane. He's the pilot. We just riding along. And so we need to take Joseph's obedience as an example for us to trust, have faith in Jesus Christ, that he will guide us and take us to the right place. Because that, I mean, at the end of the day, wherever we are, as long as Jesus is there, that's where you need to be. You don't need anyone else. And so that's gonna cap out the video. There will be a TikTok. I will make a video tomorrow on this. I hope all of you enjoyed this video. A lot of nerves and whatnot. I hope you guys learned something new, and you guys have a blessed day.